I'm Mary McIntyre from Stewart's Draft, Virginia.
Bob McIntyre, also from Stewart's Draft, and we do lapidary and wire wrapping. It started out years ago with my dad used to have this as one of his hobbies, and at one point in time he came to us and said, look, my hand shook a lot and I'd rather do the collecting the stones, and I think you should do some wire wrapping or making jewelry. I told him he was out in the sun too long. That's how much interest I had in it at that moment. It became a time when I had to deal with the issue of selling the house. Nobody was going to want, in my opinion, a house full of rocks. We actually took all Dad's rocks, probably 90% or better of them, and threw them in the town dump, which was a quarry. I guess that was natural for them to go back to the earth where they came from. Through the years, though, we happened to be at Chip Oaks Plantation one time down there on James River. Came across a man that was doing wire wrap jewelry. I looked at his work, and it was the first time that I had seen wire wrap that I thought, wow, that really looks like jewelry. Probably a month later, we were at Chesterfield Town Center up in Richmond and saw a person in a kiosk. And I saw a piece in there that was looking like something I could remember that Dad had, and I asked the woman, how much is that? And she picked it up and turned it over, and she said, $135. And I put it down and I thought, Dad must have had something to say. So we hurried up and got a hold of that person that we met at Chip Oaks. Who, oddly enough, was the same person that taught them. He was from Maryland, they were from North Carolina, we're in Virginia, and somehow it all came together. We spent some time, we spent about 2 weeks and went up to Aberdeen, Maryland and learned how to wire wrap, and that's where we started out from. Probably after we got started there and actually did a couple shows, the first ones were a little bit scary and we actually had to make our own display cases and everything else when we did it. We had a large tent and a very little table, and we probably looked very awkward out there.
One of the things that we like to do is we like to do the gun and knife shows. The gun and knife shows, you think jewelry at a gun and knife show, but it is interesting because a lot of the women don't want to go to a gun show with their husbands, but when they find out the jewelry's there, they do come. And they love us and we love them. And you even have the vendors that are gun and knife dealers that buy our jewelry from us.
The treasure tree was something I kind of thought up in that we were making treasures, and this whole idea of the business was a tree. Let's see how far it will grow. And even to today, it's still expanding. We've had pieces come from Alaska when people would be up in Juneau and they'd pick up a rock. So any place you go on vacation, bring us a rock. You'll have a piece of something that no one else has got. We've had people meet each other like in the Flatiron Mountains in Colorado. They were hiking, met one another there and picked up a rock. The person had seen the other hiker wearing our jewelry and sent us a rock and had some pieces made. So it comes in a lot of different ways. But what we generally do, we'll take the rock and we'll cut it and slice it basically like you would bologna or something like that. Get it down to maybe quarter, 3/16 thick, and then decide what shape we should cut it. We use patterns to trace a shape onto it. We cut it with a saw very similar to a tile saw. It's a wet diamond blade. We kind of get the basic shape of it there, and then we go to grinding wheels. So we actually shape the stones and grind it into a cabochon, and progressively finer and finer and finer grinds. And at that point, the stone is so shiny. You really don't need polishes and stuff on it, but we do it anyway, just to kind of give that extra sparkle.
My favorite part is actually polishing the rocks, because a lot of lapidary artists, what they'll do is they'll use a dop stick. They'll actually glue a stick to the back of the stone. I do not do that. I have to physically hold that stone. I have major issues with pain, and when I feel that stone and the process that I go through to get it to polish, it just brings out the beauty and it becomes part of me, who I am, and it overpowers the pain. Living in the Shenandoah Valley, we moved here from Chesterfield County. And when we lived in Chesterfield, we actually did what we wanted to cut and polish, not what others wanted us to cut and polish. As soon as we started taking other people's rocks, which a lot of times they had asked us to do that. And because other lapidary artists did not do it, we were like, maybe we should start doing this. And lo and behold, it opened up a whole new field for us. We make anywhere from rings, pendants, or they call them slides or necklaces. We also make neck collars, bracelets, bolo ties, and belt buckles for men. We have a website, which is ttwwj.com. We have a Facebook page, and we also, you can give us a call. My cell phone number is 804-514-9929, or our home number is 540-324-7890.